the News Channel 5 network, this is MorningLine with Nick Beres.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. Nick Beres here on a Monday, back live and direct for you. A live show. I had a couple days off last week, and as we lead up to the holidays, we want to pack as many good shows in as we can for you. We're going to open up the phone lines and invite you to join in the conversation as one of our favorite guests to this program. I like to think that, you know, he's a friend of mine. I'm not sure that he would say I'm a friend of his, but we are always cordial to each other, and that's a good way to be with the top law dog in Davidson County, and I'm talking about Davidson County Sheriff Daron Hall. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. How are you on this Monday? Getting going?
I don't know. Not
coffee, please.
Kind of yeah. It's just one, and I can't believe it's. I cannot believe we're in the end of December, basically.
The time flies, and I know for you, a lot of people are getting ready to take time off, and hopefully you'll get some time off with your family, but it's a busy time for you with, I know one reason you want to come on, I think you're going to be doing the rounds with a lot of the media in the days to come on the Last Minute Toy Store. Yeah,
you know, Nick, 2 years, second year for us with the fantastic organization, and you guys have been really good to us, and some public service announcements and sponsorship earlier with some, you know, money donations throughout the year. We've kind of built up to this, and so yeah, this is the big week. We start on Wednesday night where people are given tickets. These are families who have no other means.
Wednesday night, okay.
And so they get their ticket. It's very, very sophisticated, actually. They show up, get a ticket, we hand you the ticket, and it tells you what time to come and shop on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Okay. And so that way you
So it's by an appointment. I mean, you have to have a ticket to come at a set time, so you don't have a huge line.
Right, and you know, and we don't. There's not any questions asked when you come and get the tickets. That's really all they do is screen to make sure you're not being helped by other nonprofits, because this is really Last Minute Toy Store for a reason.
Right.
So once they know that you're not on those other lists, and what they do is give you your ticket, you show back up on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. And it's just amazing to watch. I mean, there will be thousands of people. I mean, last year I think it was 5,400 families that were helped. We're expecting over 6,000 this year. It's just a lot of people.
And the thing is, it's so great that you do this, and this is one reason you put your focus on this instead of doing Sober Ride this past year, which I agree with you. I think Sober Ride is no longer needed like it once was because of Uber and everything else. But when you say 6,000 families, and I'm trying to get a handle to qualify, how, and I know they kind of, I don't anticipate there's people here trying to sneak in and do this, and you guys don't vet everyone like, you know, the TBI background check or something, but you have to have some need. How great is the need on these families, which to me, that they don't have the money to buy toys for their children, which is heartbreaking. How bad is it?
Yeah, Nick, and let me give you mine, because I grew up here in Nashville. I'd heard of Last Minute Toy Store for many, many years, but really hadn't been involved much. And so 2.5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, as we started to wind down what we were going to do with Sober Ride, I was looking for a nonprofit for our organization to kind of put our hands around and help, and but really didn't know where to start. And I ran into a mutual friend of mine, and he set me up with Pastor Dale Roble, who heads up Last Minute Toy Store. And really, they were looking for space at the time because we were being kind of, we jokingly said, evicted out of the church that they were in. So in turn, we had space, but I was trying to look into it and say, well, wonder if we could do anything more. Space wasn't going to be the only thing we wanted to do. So, but the more we talked, the more it was, look, bring it out. What if we bring it out to our warehouse setting where it's on site, parking and so forth is pretty good. And then that way our staff can be involved year round, because believe it or not, this is a collection of toys year round. We're doing things in every month of the year. We sent some volunteers to Philadelphia just back in November to pick a whole truckload of toys up. We collect gift cards in different months where you wear casual clothing at work. And there's a lot that goes on all year. And so seeing it work was going to be something very interesting to me and us. And to be honest, I was a little skeptical of, you know, how much a need. I've been involved with things before where I've knocked on the door to give a basket, and they have a nicer house than I do, and I never felt really comfortable with what we were doing. That's years ago. But I'll tell you what happened to me. I went out there the very first day of the shopping, just last year, first time I'd been there. We'd helped to kind of set it up, and I was there, and I promise you, when this was two different mothers, first couple of mothers turn the corner, and it's a big, you know, open area where there's all sorts of stuff to buy or to get. And I just saw, I mean, just open emotion off of these. And so I no longer care. I mean, if you're faking that,
right? I'm with you on that.
The expression of all that just tells me everything I need to know.
Yep.
And I do believe that the Last Minute Toy Store has a pretty good system of checking to make sure that Nick Beres is not on the Angel Tree programs and some of these more commonly known around town. Not that they're bad programs, but this was last minute to assume you haven't made any other.
So these are some, for whatever reason, haven't really been part of these other programs. So if you're on Angel Tree or you already have some gifts coming your way, you shouldn't try it.
That's the purpose. And what they did, and again, I wasn't a part of the original 25 years ago, but what they wanted to do was those folks who, for example, some of those programs you have to sign up for in October.
Okay.
And if you miss the window, this is last minute, you know.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of idea around making sure that all those other ones are fantastic. This is the Last Minute Toy Store for a reason. And so they do really good work, I think, on the preliminary part of that. But no one's going to be turned away. Let's just say it that way. That's not going to happen.
Right.
But it's, I mean, you'll see, gosh, it was thousands of people literally trying to get in. And so you see the need in Nashville when we're doing so great in so many ways. Yeah. Don't ever assume, and I know you don't, but don't ever assume that there aren't many people who are in need. And you know, we do some things that aren't very publicized with it. One of the things I was really instrumental in trying to push them into doing was to help the inmate families. I mean, this sounds kind of weird, but oftentimes the breadwinner is in jail.
Right.
You know, and the children, it's not their fault. And even the wives or significant others, it's not their fault. And so they're often without anything. And so what we do is we take the inmates that are in drug and alcohol treatment programs, about 100 and something inmates, and we give them a ticket, just like the ones you have to come pick up. And we don't describe them any differently. They walk up, no one needs to know who's who, and they're able to get something for their family. And while potentially the husband or the father is in jail, and that's just a small portion of it. But there's a lot of different
people forget
options.
that, and you're right. You know, the inmate, all right, he's paying his debt to society, he or she. It's the families are suffering on that. Yeah. Right.
And so we just and again, there's all sorts of other ways. It's interesting how it happens. People lose their home to fire or whatever, and we've had people, you know, in our own agency who have family members outside of it that are in dire need. And so you know, the main thing is, and like I said, I watch the face of people turning that corner and just seeing the opportunity. And how it works is Nick shows up and he has an 11-year-old and a 4-year-old child. You're assigned a shopper, so it's a volunteer, and that volunteer takes you to the area where 11-year-old clothes or toys and 4-year-old toys are, and then you pick up those items. And it's designed for certain. A bicycle, for example, is a little more valuable than a ball or a stuffed animal, but you'll get one of most often one of everything: a bicycle, a stuffed animal, a toy. And
so you have, okay, as far as supplies, do you have enough toys?
Yes.
Okay, and do you have enough volunteers to be working? I know Mark Binda here at the station has been sending out notes, and I was going to check into doing it as well. And I just want to make sure: do you have enough volunteers to serve, like you just said, to take them back and anything else?
You know, you should go to lastminutetoystore.com. You can sign up on there. There are needs of different times of day. For example, Saturday is a day where we have a lot of volunteers because it's a weekend.
Sure.
A lot of high schools here in town send their kids out. We actually use the teenagers, the high schoolers, to actually carry the stuff. What you don't think about is there's a bicycle this tall, and you drive up in a small vehicle.
Well, what if some of these people don't have vehicles? I'm guessing some of them who are here for this don't have cars.
Yeah, and
I don't know how they get there or get back.
Yeah, and there's bus line right to the place.
Okay, good.
And without a lot of advertisement, we've worked to get that stuff delivered home to you, but that's not a part of the program. We
I was just wondering on that, but that makes sense. There are going to be some cases like that. So it starts this Wednesday?
It starts this Wednesday
and it runs until
through Saturday.
Wednesday through Saturday, and of course Christmas is next week. And so if they haven't signed up yet, literally last second, what if someone that morning wakes up and it's because they've been busy working, or maybe they've had health issues and they're all like, oh my gosh, Christmas is upon us, I'm broke, I haven't done anything, what can they do?
It's perfect. That's who it's really for.
Okay.
Go on Wednesday afternoon at 4 o'clock, 5117 Harding Place. You can't miss it. There's signage and everything out there. It's a big, large warehouse. That particular day, you're given a ticket. You go home, you come back the next day. It'll show you what time to be there, just so it's not a huge line of folks. Allows everyone to go through.
But you'll get everyone in.
Yes, yes. And you know, the weather looks pretty decent. Last year was very bitter cold, so we will make that process work very smoothly. There's parking available. Christmas trees are given to everybody. Wrapping paper is given there.
I'll tell you what, it is just absolutely. You know what's interesting is we have to go to the break. Look, I mean, and there are many people out there, us and I'm sure you, I mean, we have the means to have a nice Christmas, whatever, my son, and I'm sure your family does to some degree. But you recognize the difference between the haves and the have. You seen some of the commercials where people are giving cars to their You know what I'm talking about.
Yes,
and they run and they're on, and if you can afford it, that's great. But I'm sitting there watching a TV show, and the commercial comes on, and it's like, well, I don't know. And then the hubby goes out, and there's 2 cars out there, one for him. I don't know who buys cars for Christmas, and I'm sure some people do. And if you are, you're blessed to have the money to be able to do that, I suppose. But talk about the haves and the have-nots. That sure as heck isn't me, and I don't wish I could give a car to my wife. She would strangle me if I did. But I mean, it's like it just. And then there's people that can't afford a toy for their child. They're the ones that need the help. So I think it's just awesome. We can talk more about that. We can take some phone calls. We can talk more about what's going on. It is curious. You talk about trying to help the families of the inmates, so I think it's a very noble thing to do. But also just I wonder what kind of things go on behind bars, and if it's jail by jail or if it's kind of standard to your knowledge, what happens at Christmas for the inmates? I don't know. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back with your calls and more with Davidson County Sheriff Daron Hall right after this.
Hey, y'all.